The farmer who spoke to the wind. Long ago, in a quiet valley surrounded by endless hills, there lived a farmer named Rafiq. His fields were known across the land, not for their beauty, but for their struggle. Every spring, storms tore through his crops, and every autumn his harvest barely filled a basket. Yet Rafiq never complained. He rose with the dawn, worked with care, and whispered to the earth as if it were an old friend. The villagers often mocked him. "Why talk to the soil?" they would laugh. "The wind can't hear you." But Rafiq only smiled and kept working. "The world listens," he would say softly, "if you speak with patience." One year, the valley faced the fiercest drought in memory. The rivers turned to dust. The sky stayed cloudless and the earth cracked under the sun. Crops withered, and even the oldest farmers lost hope. Many left the valley, searching for greener lands. Only Rafiq stayed behind. Each morning he walked to his barren field, stood at the edge and spoke aloud. "Wind of the mountains, friend of the trees, I do not beg for riches, only for rain to share." The villagers shook their heads. "He's gone mad," they said. "Talking to wind won't bring clouds." But Rafiq continued. Days turned into weeks, and still no drop fell. Yet he refused to stop believing. He tended the dry soil, patched broken fences, and carried water from the distant well for his last surviving seedlings. One evening, when the sky was painted red and the air still as glass, Rafiq heard a faint sigh, a whisper that brushed past his ear like a secret. "You have called me for many days," the voice said. "Why do you trust the wind?" Startled, Rafiq looked around but saw no one. Only the fields shimmered faintly in the fading light. He bowed his head and replied, "Because even the unseen listens to the heart that speaks with truth." The wind laughed, a soft, swirling sound that lifted the dust around him. "You humans always ask, but rarely listen. I have blown through your lands for centuries, but none have thanked me. Why should I bring rain to those who mock my touch?" Rafiq thought deeply, then said, "Because kindness is never wasted. Even if the world forgets your name, the trees still dance when you pass." For a long moment there was silence. Then the air shifted. A cool breeze rose from the east, gentle at first, then stronger, weaving through the valley like a song. Leaves trembled. Clouds gathered from beyond the mountains. Within minutes, rain began to fall, soft, steady, and sweet. The villagers ran outside, laughing and shouting. They danced under the rain, never knowing how it came. But Rafiq simply stood in his field, arms outstretched, whispering, "Thank you, old friend." From that day forward, the valley flourished. The rivers returned, the soil grew rich, and Rafiq's fields turned golden with grain. People from faraway lands came to learn his methods, hoping to uncover his secret. But Rafiq never spoke of magic or prayers. Instead, he told them, "Work with love, speak kindly, even to the wind. Gratitude moves the world more than fear ever could." Years passed, and Rafiq grew old. One quiet morning, after a lifetime of tending the land, he sat under his favorite tree and closed his eyes for the last time. As the villagers buried him, a gentle breeze swept through the valley, calm and fragrant, carrying the scent of blossoms. And from that moment on, whenever storms gathered above the hills, the wind would soften before reaching the valley. The people began to say that it was Rafiq's voice, still speaking, still grateful, guiding the wind to be gentle. They called their home the Whispering Valley. And each year during harvest, the farmers stood together at dawn, facing the hills, and whispered into the breeze, "Thank you, wind of the mountains, friend of our fields."